against the Xavier Musketeers here at the Al McGuire Center. In the last meeting between these two squads, Marquette took the 3-1 victory October 2nd, and that was the last match that junior outside hitter KJ Lyons played. I'm Zoe Comerford alongside Jackson Gross presenting this Marquette University Television's first Big East matchup broadcast of the season. Xavier sits at 6th in the Big East, and Marquette is on a 4-game win streak, and it's the Golden Eagles' first match at the Al McGuire Center since October 12th when they had a 3-2 loss to the Creighton Blue Jays in 5 sets. So Jackson, tonight's going to be an interesting start to November volleyball and a chance for Marquette to redeem themselves from the last game at the Al.
Yeah, it's hard to go on the road after a tough stinger of a loss against Creighton, so I think they're going to have a lot of energy, and it's been over almost a month since they've been here, so it should be rocking in here, and they should play with a lot of heart, a lot of energy. Should be a fun one to watch. Yeah,
it's definitely interesting, and I think it's really interesting. There aren't that many students here, but all of the students who are here actually get a shirt that says, in the state of Wisconsin, no one fights alone. So it's a green shirt, and it's a really interesting kind of fighting for cancer, and everyone's together. So I think that's a really cool promotion that they're doing. The number 10 Golden Eagles reclaimed the position at the AVCA polls top 10 this week as they enter the matchup with the overall record of 19-3, which is historically the best record through 22 games in the program after coming off 3 sweeps and a 4-set win during Marquette's 2-week road stretch. So Marquette has so much depth in the season's roster, Jackson, including 2019 Big East Preseason Player of the Year, Allie Barber, and Captain Lauren Speckman. And Allie Barber, she actually leads the Big East and is 10th in the NCAA with 4.69 kills per set. And then we have senior setter Lauren Speckman and 2018 AVCA All-American Honorable Mention Junior Libero Martha Konovadoff, 2017 Big East Freshman of the Year Hope Wirch, and transfers KJ Lyons and Gwen Jones. However, the team has been without Lyons, and they've been switching off between Speckman, Claire Mosier, and Sarah Rose, so at the setter position. So how crucial is it that they have a plethora of options at the outside hitter position, Jackson, but how has the loss of Lyons impacted this squad?
It's definitely, they've playing great without her, but it's still a huge impact. I mean, she had 2.57 kills per set, 1.37 digs. So she was playing on both ends, obviously, and that's huge, but they've been able to find a way to win without her, and that's credit to the whole coaching staff and the players adjusting on the fly when you use a big piece like that. So credit to the coaching staff and making sure that all their players are prepared and they know what to do.
I think it definitely helps to have that depth. Meanwhile, the Musketeers come into this match sitting, like I said, at 6th in the Big East with an overall record of 8-12, having won only 5 conference matchups. They're coming off a 3-set sweep against Villanova. Villanova swept them last Saturday. And Xavier has an extremely young team after losing 3 starters. I mean, they lost right side hitter Morgan Finn, who actually ranked 2nd on the team with 202 kills. They lost outside hitter Laura Grossman, who tallied 342 digs, which was the 2nd best from the Musketeers and 11th best in conference. And then they also lost their libero, Meredith Clare, who led the team with 470 digs, and her 4.48 digs per set, ranked 3rd in the Big East during conference play. So, Jackson, how hard is it to come and play this number 10 team with such a young squad?
I mean, it's just a learning experience. I mean, when you lose 3 top players at 3 key positions, you're going to go through a learning curve. And, I mean, it was kind of competitive last time Marquette played Xavier, going to 4 sets. But, I mean, just a learning experience. You're learning how a good team plays and just trying to pick up on those habits, even though you don't go to the same school. Just picking up on those winning habits. And eventually, a couple of years down the line, I think Xavier will have a very strong team and be competing in the Big East.
Yeah, and then I really want to go into 2 players one player from each team. So obviously Allie Barber, she Big East Preseason Player of the Year. I mean, she's 3rd all time on Marquette's kill list with 1,682 kills, and she's 52 kills away from becoming that all-time kills leader in Marquette. So that's just a huge feat for her.
Yeah, oh my God. It's been a pleasure being able to watch her this year, and just the ferocity she has. I mean, I would be, honestly, if I was on the court right now, I'd be afraid if she was spiking the ball towards me. I'd probably fall on the floor or something. But it's been an absolute pleasure watching her play, and she's just showing all the skills she has. It's fantastic.
Exactly. And then going into Xavier's best player, I mean, Lauren Hanlon, she's a right side hitter from a redshirt sophomore from Woodstock, Illinois, and she actually last season just had those 16 attacks and 4 blocks, but she's been crucial this season.
Yeah, I mean, when you have, like we said, such a young team, it's important to have leaders step up right away. so that you can build for the future, but also stay competitive. You don't want to be one of those teams that's just like, oh, okay, we have a young team, let's give up. You want to be one of those young teams that's like, we're competitive with the good teams. We're probably going to lose, but we want to be competitive.
Exactly, and she actually leads the team with 2.6 kills per set, so you'll be hearing her name a lot. So we're going to take a short break here for the national anthem, but we'll be right back.
Oh.
Okay. That's scary. All right, so welcome back. It's Zoe Comfort alongside Jackson Gross for this Marquette versus, again, for this Marquette Xavier matchup today. And we're going to go right on into the starters because they have already set up the starters for this evening's matchup. So for the Xavier Musketeers, it will be Marianne O'Toole. She's an freshman outside hitter from Louisville, Kentucky. And then there's Kerrigan O'Reilly. She's a freshman setter from Westerville, Ohio. And then there's Kelly Franksman, a red. And then there's Ellie Chafee, who's a sophomore middle blocker from Kansas City, Missouri. And then there's Jada Carlton, a sophomore middle blocker from Harrisburg, North Carolina. And then there's Lauren Hanlon, the right side hitter we just talked about, redshirt freshman from redshirt sophomore from Woodstock, Illinois. So that will be the starting lineup for the Musketeers. And for the Golden Eagles, it will be a little unconventional lineup they have here. I mean, Hannah Vandenberg will start, freshman outside hitter from Little Chute, Wisconsin. And Lawrence Beckman will be the setter, so she's the senior captain from San Jose, California. Then there's Martha Konavadov, as always, at the libero position. She's a junior from Sugar Grove, Illinois. And then Hope Wirch and Allie Barber will be at the outside hitter positions. And then Gwyn Jones and Elizabeth Orff will round it out at the middle blocker position. So without KJ Lines yet again, so how is Marquette going to kind of figure out what they need to do and rotate their system to try to overcome that loss?
I mean, kind of trying to get a little bit more experimental in their positions. I mean, throughout most of the year, Hannah Vandenberg hasn't started a whole ton, so just trying different looks here and there. They've had some ones that worked, some that didn't, so just trying to flip it up every once in a while. And Vandenberg's a freshman, so getting her experience on a good team is good for her and will help them down the line when all these great players are gone.
Exactly. Hannah Vandenberg's been such a surprise for me, especially. I mean, she's a 6'2" freshman from Little Chute, Wisconsin. She's in high school, she was a 4-time first-team all-conference player. She was a 3-time conference player of the year. She was a 2-time all-state, 2-time conference champ. So she's had an impressive resume before she even got to Marquette. I mean, she had 2,433 career kills, which is super impressive, and she's already made a start in the starting lineup for Marquette during a conference matchup.
Man, that's just a fantastic resume, and hopefully as she grows, it'll continue to expand here at the college level. But she's at a great spot right now and in a great position to continue to succeed.
Exactly, and the Golden Eagles, it's definitely interesting seeing all of their injuries, and I know that injuries happens with sports, obviously, but it's when you have these top players that are getting injured, you're going to have to find someone else to fit in, and that's something that really Marquette has had to struggle with kind of throughout the season, figuring out, okay, how much depth do we actually have, and how can we kind of make sure that our team is still as good a top 10 team.
And that's why you have to recruit well. I mean, besides getting the 5-star or 4-star recruits, you got to get those 3- and 2-star ones. They're still quality players that can still fill out in case you have injuries to some of your top players. So it's a great job of recruiting and just coaching them well. I mean, you have to make sure everyone knows what they do and what they do at their position, and even occasionally with other positions. That way they can fill in when necessary. So absolutely great job for the coaching staff and recruiting staff getting this all together.
Exactly, and I really want to talk about Halloween, because Halloween is so present here today at the Alma McGuire Center. I don't know if you're seeing this from the stands, but the student section, they're all kind of dressed up. I mean, there's a contest right now. It's kind of like if whoever has the best costume gets free Chainsmokers tickets. So that's pretty fun. So that's why if you see in the stands, there are a lot of people kind of dressed up trying to get those tickets. I mean, they're free tickets. Why not?
I think a lot of people are going hard. I mean, someone has like near identical look to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. I mean, they're trying to get those tickets. I love it. It's fantastic.
Exactly.
He did a really good job with the makeup and the hair. That's fantastic.
Exactly, and I mean, the band's all dressed up too, so that's really exciting, and everybody's really pumped up. And yesterday, the coaching staff was really dressed up. So RJ Lingerich was a B, and head coach Ryan Tice for the Golden Eagles was kind of, he was the Matt LaFleur from the Packers. He was dressed up like him, and then Megan Keck was dressed up like a hot dog. So they were kind of trying to have fun in promoting this game and trying to get students to come out. But so as we take the floor here, Marquette against Xavier. So Xavier is 8-12 and sits 6th in the conference, as Marquette is 2nd in conference, and they are 9-1.
Yeah, that one loss coming against Creighton. I mean, Creighton's beaten everybody, so it should be interesting to see how Marquette continues throughout the year, and I'm excited for this game. Finally came back at the Al.
Exactly, and for the Golden Eagles, it'll be Vandenberg, Orff, Wirch, Speckman, Barber, and Kanavidov on the floor to start off. Gwyn Jones is going to go take a seat for a little bit, and for the Musketeers, it will be their lineup of Lauren Hanlon, Jada Carlton, Maddie Cutruff, Ellie Chaffee, Kelly Franksman, Marianne O'Toole, and Kerrigan O'Reilly. And it looks like Xavier will be back to serve first, and that's Kerrigan O'Reilly, the right side, the freshman setter from Westerville, Ohio, back to serve as we are underway here at the Al McGuire Center. First serve is up, and we're underway. Speckman sets it up for Barber. Barber slams it down, something Marquette does so well of. Lauren Speckman and Allie Barber, that duo just combines for most of the kills on this team.
Yeah, like, name a more iconic duo. I'll wait. Just please. Wait, I'll wait. Tell me a more iconic duo.
So now Marquette takes the first point. They're up 1-0 as Hannah Vandenberg is back to serve for the Golden Eagles. That falls for Kelly Franksman, and Xavier ties it up.
Yeah, it looked like it deflected right at the net, and then Kanavidov had really no play on it, so unfortunate play right there.
So Alyssa Overbeck is coming in, a freshman libero from Cincinnati, Ohio, to serve. Allie Barber thought she was right there, but it goes wide, and that'll be a point for Xavier. So Xavier takes their first lead early. That's probably something that they want to get on top of. Get that lead over Marquette and kind of get them into that hole.
Yeah, just continue to play well and just continue to play competitively, and they've done a good job of that so far.
Speckman to Orff. Lauren Hanlon tries to, she's denied. Elizabeth Orff is the one who is credited with that kill, and Marquette will tie it up at 2.
Yeah, good play right there. Just a nice little soft toss over. Just a little push on the ball right there to get it back over the net.
So Orff will come out and Gwyn Jones will come in. As Martha Konovadoff serves, it hits the tape, almost going out. Konovadoff sets it up for Hope Wirch, and Hope Wirch gets it off the block, and that's a Marquette point.
Great play set up there, getting it from one side back to the other and back from the same side to get a good kill over there.
Hope Wirch in perfect position as Martha Konovadoff back to serve for the Golden Eagles yet again. Soft touch from O'Toole, but that'll be Xavier's point after Marquette had a bit of a mixed communication there.
Yeah, a little miscommunication, but also people on the bench had to get out of the way trying to get that ball back into play.
It'll be Jada Carlton, sophomore middle blocker, to serve for Xavier. Gwyn Jones on the slide, it's denied. Gwyn Jones smacks it down, and it goes off the hands of the Xavier blocker, and that's a Marquette point. Marquette leads 4-3.
Yeah, just right place at the right time, just being able to smack that back over, and only to get a deflection, and the deflection went right behind. Good play there from Gwyn Jones.
So you'll see this a lot. Barbara and Speckman go out, and Sarah Rose and Ellie Kuntz came in. So Rose will be back to serve for the Golden Eagles. Gets it just over the net. And that'll be a Marquette point because it went off the pin. And see, the pin was wiggling, so that means that Marquette gets that point. And Marquette has their biggest lead of the night.
Okay, so yeah, makes sense.
Sarah Rose will be back to serve for the Golden Eagles. Something you don't see a lot from Sarah Rose, a service error. I mean, at Marquette as a whole, they do struggle with serving sometimes, but Sarah Rose usually gets it over.
Yeah, that's a rarity. It just went too far to the right on that one, so not a good serve there.
Elsa Watson, the junior setter from Sartell, Minnesota, checks in, and she actually served right there. Gwyn Jones on the slide. Nice dig by the Musketeers. Hope Wirch just taps it over. Hopkins tried for that one. One of the longer points of the match. Gwyn Jones taps it over this time.
Oh my goodness.
Sarah Rose is going to set it up for Hope Wirch, and she's going to slam it down, but that is going out. And that is a Xavier point. Xavier brings it within 1.
Yeah, that just went out of bounds, but that's what you love about volleyball is when it gets in that back and forth, almost like a tennis match or a ping pong match where they just go back and forth and back and forth. That's what makes the game so beautiful and fun to watch.
So it looks like head coach Ryan Tice for the Golden Eagles is going to challenge that last call. He thinks that there was a Xavier blocker who got in the way of that going out. So usually he is right with his challenges. So we'll see if yet again he will have the right eye.
Yeah, well, I wonder what his percentage is on that. But it definitely, from the games I've been here, he's done a fantastic job with his challenges. I mean, obviously the ball went out. We could see it from our vantage point, but whether or not it touched someone, I don't know. But
that's definitely something to see whether or not it was tipped, and it was. So that'll be a point towards Marquette and not to Xavier. So Xavier can't tie it up. So Marquette now has that 6-4 lead. So is a confidence booster, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And I like the fact they were playing the Halloween theme music during the challenge, getting in that spooky vibe to this game.
For sure. And Hope Wirch will be back to serve for the Golden Eagles. Wirch is into the net, and that's a Xavier point. Xavier gets a free point. See, this is what I loathe. I loathe service errors because you're just basically giving the other team a free point.
Exactly. It's kind of like free throws in basketball. It's good to foul, but I mean, you're giving a team like 2 free shots at 2 free points. So I definitely agree. I detest that so much.
So on that last play, Gwyn Jones slammed it down, and Maddie Kutroff couldn't get her hands on it. She just got too close to it and couldn't get on it. So it will be Jones back to serve for Marquette. Marquette has the 7-5 lead in this game. It hits the tape and goes over. That'll be a service ace for the Golden Eagles. That'll be a service ace for Gwyn Jones, and Marquette leads 8-5.
Man, that's so tough. You think you're sitting back in your position, you're ready to bump it up, and you realize, oh, it just tapped off the net, and it's short. So,
well, so Gwyn Jones first gets it right over the net, but then goes way long. So now that'll be Xavier point. Marquette leads 8-6 in this first set.
It's kind of like a moment of karma where it's just like, okay, it'll go one way this way and then another way the other way. Just the world balancing itself out.
Rose set it up for Ellie Kuntz on that last play, and it was tipped by Xavier, so that'll be a Marquette point. Ellie Kuntz is really impressive. She's a sophomore, and she's the only lefty on the team, so she has a different vantage point up for the Golden Eagles in order to – it's definitely a different vantage point, so she could get around the block in different ways than if it was a righty.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder just why the one lefty. Yeah, definitely a different angle in which to hit the ball. So
the last point, that was a net violation on Marquette, so that will be Xavier point. Marquette leads 9-7 in the first set, as there are going to be a few substitutions for the Musketeers. Kerrigan O'Reilly will be back to serve.
So I just had a question. You're a little bit more knowledgeable of volleyball than me. What is a net violation exactly?
This is a very difficult one, and honestly, Dan would be better at explaining it than I am. But a net violation is basically when you have touched the net.
Okay.
Or you were in the net.
Okay.
So that was a big block. Allie Barber came in, and she just credited with that block.
Well, I definitely agree that Dan might be better explaining, but prediction-wise, he struggles a little bit here and there.
So it'll be Hannah Vandenberg back to serve for Marquette as the Golden Eagles lead 10-7. That'll be a credited kill towards Jada Carlton.
No, I think that was out of bounds.
You were right. So my apologies. That'll be a Marquette. That'll be a Marquette point. The camera was actually blocking my view from that one. But Vandenberg will be back to serve for Marquette again. Oh, Allie Barber just did a little hit over there, but Marquette's out of system, so they got to kind of regain back control. And none other than Allie Barber to smack it down in the middle of the court.
Man, if ever you're struggling or ever you're playing good and you just want a guaranteed point, set it up for Allie Barber. She'll make it happen.
Marquette leads 12-7 in this first set.
Nice line drive.
And Hope Wirtz tried to just swat that down, but it didn't work and went out of bounds, so that'll be Xavier point.
Yeah, I think how she was kind of angled towards the out of bounds markers, so when she tried to like quickly tap it over, just not in the right direction there.
So Overbeck will be back to serve for the Musketeers. Vandenberg gets her hands on it. Speckman sets it up for Hope Wirtz. Speckman gets her hands on that. Knobdorf sets it up for Hope Wirtz again and goes through the block. That'll be a Marquette point.
Yeah, that just stinks when you like have a perfect block set up and the ball just heads straight down off your hand into the ground. Nothing much you could do there. Good attempt, but
well, it's because Hope Wirtz's kill was so strong.
Right.
Martha Knobdorf back to serve for the Golden Eagles. And that'll be a kill for Marianne O'Toole. That'll be her second kill of the match.
Yeah, just in a dead spot. Nothing Speckman could do on that one to get it back up there.
So it will be Jada Carlton back to serve yet again. Knobdorf gets her hands on it. Speckman sets it up for Gwyn Jones on the slide. And that's going to be a Xavier point. That went a bit wide.
Yeah, that's real close. I think that's still a good call, but man, that was real close.
Marquette leads 13-10. Carlton back to serve. She puts a long one up there. Kuntz gets her hands on it. Allie Barber slams it down to the open court. Yet again, third kill of the night already, and we're only in the first set.
Man, you hear the thud. I'm pretty sure they could probably hear on the broadcast too. You just hear the thud whenever she kills it. That's just so awesome.
I would not want Allie Barber coming at me with that.
It's like a player so good you never want to play against her, especially on a play like that.
Hanlon tried for that attack, but was no good. Hope Wirtz just gets it over, so the free ball, and that is a Xavier point. They just tapped it over. There's not much else you have to do. Like Marquette was thinking they were going for the hard hitter, but they just tapped it over and got Marquette out of the system and got the point.
Yeah, and that's just a good job of being patient, and it's good to see from this young team. They saw Marquette was basically in a circle and just tapped it into the circle in between all the Marquette players.
Watson gets credited with the ace on that one. Martha Konadov just couldn't get her hand under it.
Yeah, she was right there, just it didn't go up the bounce she wanted it to go.
So it'll be Watson back to serve again for Xavier. Konadov gets her hand under that one. Rose sets it up for Jones on the slide. Get out of system. Ellie Kuntz to just tap it over. And that'll be off the block, so Mariah Hopkins will get credited with that kill, and that's a Xavier point. Xavier's within one again. Marquette only leads 14-13.
I mean, they're not as bad as their record says. They play competitively. I know they lost 3-0 against Villanova, but still a very competitive bunch.
Hope Wirtz gets her hand on that. Almost a service ace again. Hopkins again. It'll go through the block, but Ellie Kuntz saves it, and Hope Wirtz gets it off the hands of Hopkins, so that'll be a Marquette point.
Yeah, nice play right there. They're trying to go for another block, but just strong play right there.
Hope Wirtz will be back to serve. She actually led the team last year with 55 service aces. So Marquette leads 15-13. She's back to serve. And it goes out. Something you don't see a lot from Hope Wirtz either. Marquette really struggling on the serve.
Yeah, man, I think that's like their third service error of the match. Don't want to give this young team too much confidence because they don't know what they're doing, so they're just going to feed off that energy and that momentum.
Rose sets it up for Vandenberg, so Vandenberg smacks that down. Xavier couldn't get any hands on that one.
God darn, that is just some powerful stuff right there, and nothing much Xavier could do on that one.
Marquette leads 16-14. Gwynn Jones back to serve for the Golden Eagles. Marianne O'Toole. Sarah Rose sets it up for Ellie Kuntz. She goes cross with it, and Mariah Hopkins can't get her hands on it. No one was there for her to pass it to. Marquette leads 17-14, and it's going to have to be a timeout for the Musketeers.
Yeah, it was a nice play right there. She used her inside hand on that play to be able to just flick it towards the middle, because if she'd used her outside hand, it would have been an easy block, but just a nice play right there. Good coordination. I mean, to be able to go mid-air and use your opposite hand, that's some great stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So Christy Heffenberger, fifth-year head coach for the Xavier Musketeers, had to call a timeout. I mean, Xavier's down by 3. Marquette leads 17-14, and, you know, even though Allie Barber's not in, she was on fire earlier, and, I mean, if Marquette gets on fire, I mean, they're hitting still at a .357 clip, which is still pretty high.
Man, that's fantastic. That's where I think they were hitting around their last match on 30.34040. So considering where they left off last time out, definitely great to see, and especially playing here at the L.
Heffenberger really needed that timeout to say, okay, what are we doing wrong on defense? And I think it's just they're not really in the positions. I mean, Marquette's going cross, they're finding the open court, and Xavier just can't get there. And
that's just a veteran team taking advantage of a younger team. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of freshmen and sophomores on the court right now, so they're still trying to learn some of the nuances and where you're supposed to be and play more pragmatically instead of just play right within the system.
There are 10 underclassmen on this Xavier team. That's a huge block for Hannah Vandenberg and Elizabeth Orff. Marquette wins this point, 18-14. Marquette lead.
Yeah, nice setup right there, and just a great positioning from Marquette to be able to get in the way of that one.
Gwynn Jones into the net. Another service error. I mean, that's 5 service errors in the first set.
Man, after this match, if I'm Ryan Tice, I'm going through at least a half an hour of just serving. Everyone serves for a half an hour just to get it down pat.
Sarah Rose sets it up. Martha Konavda sets it up for Hannah Vandenberg. She gets blocked. She tries again, but that's an attack error, and that's a Xavier point.
Yeah. She tried going a little softer just because on that first one, she tried to go a little harder and she got blocked. So I understand that, but need a little bit more arc on that to get it over the net.
Petrov with the serve. Sarah Rose sets it up for Hannah Vandenberg. She's blocked. And then it's Ellie Kuntz credited with the kill, going cross like she does. Marquette leads 19-16.
Yeah, I don't know if something you've noticed as well, but whenever Marquette goes far side, that's where they seem to get more of their points from, rather than going towards our near side. So I wonder if that's something they're going to continue to go after in the future.
So now Lauren Speckman has a service error. So Xavier has now gotten 6 points off of service errors.
I feel like these service errors are kind of like when you yawn. They're contagious to the rest of the team so far. I mean, 6 errors, I mean, it's probably like 4 or 5 players between all of them that have committed a service error.
Piergan O'Reilly was on the serve there. Hannah Vandenberg puts it up, and Xavier's out of system. He's going to hit the pin, and that's a Marquette point.
Yeah, just not enough over it, and even if you could get it over, you're hitting the pole. It was just not the best play right there by Xavier.
I mean, considering Marquette's not playing the best, they're still winning 2017.
Oh my god.
Okay, so that is number 7. Okay, so we're now going to have a count, I think, on how many service errors. I mean, service errors, there's 7 for Marquette and none for Xavier. So Xavier is just doing really well on the serve, taking their time. Marquette's rushing it a lot and getting kind of a little stressed, and I don't think they're really getting in position for it.
Yeah, and most of them have been short. They're hitting the net. I could deal with the serves going long, but when you're hitting the net, you're just not putting enough into it as that one goes out of bounds.
Hannah Vandenberg's going to hit it too long. She's put a little too much power on that one. That'll be a Xavier point. They come within 1. Marquette only leads 20-19.
And
as it'll be Alyssa Overbeck to serve for the Musketeers. Okay. Speckman sets it up for Word. She slams it down, and it's going to hit the pin, and that's a Marquette point.
Man, that's just so unlucky. Like, that ball was up there for an eternity, and it just happened to hit the pole again. I think that's the 3rd one that's hit the pole tonight.
And it's all coming from Xavier hitting the pin. Quinn Jones was right there. She slams it down. No Xavier player in the vicinity. Marquette wins that point, and they take the 22-19 lead on a 3-0 run.
Yeah, that was a nice play right there. Just a little flick over with both hands to be able to get that one down, and get it down straight down, not giving Xavier an opportunity to hit that one.
And it's going to be another Xavier timeout because they're thinking, okay, how are we still down even though they've had 7 service errors and we are still losing 22-19. So they really need to fix kind of their offense. It's really struggling right now. They're only hitting a .105 and Marquette's hitting a .316. So I think to beat a top 10 team, you really need to be at least hitting above a .3.
Yeah, and I mean, it's impressive they stay competitive even though they're hitting at that .1 like you mentioned, but
yeah, but that's due to the service errors.
Right, absolutely. But I will definitely agree. You got to be at least between a .25 and .3 to even remain competitive without the service service errors. Excuse me. And just even if you cut them in half, you have to be at that spot because otherwise it's going to be a blowout.
So Martha Konovadoff is back to serve for the Golden Eagles. Number 7. I mean, she might look a little bit different. She dyed her hair brown, so it's a little. She used to be blonde, now she's brown. So she's going to put up the serve, and that's going to be a service ace for Konovadoff and the Golden Eagles. So their 2nd service ace, and Marquette leads 23-19 in this first set.
A little redemption right there and being able to get that service ace there. So hopefully less service errors for the rest of the match.
They really needed some momentum there.
Yeah.
Marianne O'Toole tries for it. And it's going to be Hannah Vandenberg who gets to it. Gives it to Martha Konovadoff to save it, but it's a free ball. Marianne O'Toole goes cross, and that'll be a point for Xavier. Marquette leads 23-20.
Yeah, Marquette was trying to set up the near side block with Wynn Jones and Allie Barber, but then good on Xavier to go to the far side and just get that cross hit.
Jada Carlton back to serve for Xavier. Konovadoff gets her hands under it. Speckman to Barber, but Barber goes out long. So that'll be a Xavier point again. Marquette leads 23-21.
Yeah, just too much on there. I mean, great play set up, just not on the kill there.
Speckman sets it up for Barber again. Barber's going to go cross, and it's going to get out of reach of Jada Carlton. Marquette takes the 24-21 lead. They have set point in this first set.
Whenever you see Allie Barber serve, make sure you try and not blink, because if you do, you're going to miss it hitting the ground. It just has so much speed.
Her power as she gets is fantastic. Sarah Rose goes to serve for the Golden Eagles. It's going to be put over by O'Toole. Sarah Rose is going to put it up for Ellie Kuntz. Gwen Jones gets her hands on it. It's going to be Hope Wirtz who goes through the block, and it came over to our broadcast booth over here. Almost got hit as Marquette takes the first set, 25-21, so a little closer than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, that first matchup, there was only really one close set. So it's good on Xavier that they came out with a close set. I mean, I think it had more to do with Marquette having a tough time with the serves, but just a good job staying competitive throughout and just playing as well as you can at that point.
I mean, it's so surprising to me that, okay, since Xavier was hitting a .136 in this first set and Marquette was hitting a .310, I mean, Marquette's 7 service errors really hurt them. They lost 7 complete points to service errors. I think it would have been a totally different game, totally different score if Marquette wouldn't have had those service errors. They would have probably won 25-15.
Yeah, I mean, just got to get better at the line there. I mean, just you really struggle, and that's probably what Ryan Tice was talking about in the huddle right now through this set break. I mean, just got to be able to go back to the fundamentals and make sure you know what you're doing, and you're doing it right.
6th-year coach Ryan Tice. He owns a 282 and 104 career record and a 137-49 mark at Marquette, and he's the 17th winningest coach in Division I with a .728 through 11 seasons as a head coach. And he's never had a season with less than 21 wins.
Wow.
And if they win this game, they'll be at 20 wins.
Man, that's
already in the season.
That's just fantastic. I mean, you just got to give credit where credit is due. I mean, to have that sustained success, man, over 20 wins for every season, that's awesome. That's just fantastic.
Well, it speaks a lot to his coaching style and how, I mean, obviously his players play a big part in that, but I think it's a lot of how he kind of embraces his players and really makes them feel like not just players, that they're actually humans as well. So I think that has a lot to do with his players, but also how good he is as a coach.
And absolutely. And also goes to recruitment. I mean, you have to find the right players to fit your system and find the best players to fit your system. So he's done a fantastic job coaching and making sure to keep in mind the well-being of the players, like you were kind of talking about, and then also finding these players in general and just doing a fantastic job of it.
Yeah, so looking at these teams from last year, so Marquette had a 28-7 overall record last year. They were 15-2 in conference. The only 2 losses came to Creighton, and they were Big East Championship runners-up to Creighton. And then looking at the Musketeers, they were 10-19 last year. They were 8-10 in the Big East, and they didn't even make the Big East tournament. So this has been a program that's kind of been in rebuilding ever since Heavenberger kind of got in to this rotation at Xavier.
Yeah, and it's just going to take time. You have to be patient with these players and just patient overall with the rest of the coaching staff, and because it's going to take time. You're not going to find a freshman star right away in most cases, but just got to develop and go to work each day and do your best and learn from your mistakes. That's what you can do as a young team, and then eventually at some point they may get up to the level of Marquette is now, and hopefully Marquette can keep the pipeline going through overall. But Xavier's done a good job. They have some solid pieces right now. Lauren Hanlon, she hasn't played the best today, but she leads their team in kills. So definitely a good job for Xavier.
Marianne O'Toole, though, she has had a day. She's hitting at a .75 hitting percentage. She's 3 for 4, so she's really getting hot. So hopefully, if Xavier's smart, they'll keep feeding her because she's the one who's really having the most offensive success.
Yeah, and when you have a young team, you don't have any really you have players, but you don't have like, okay, we're going to this person like every time or a majority of the time. So you can just ride the hot hand as much as you can. And I think that's kind of an advantage in some instances where you can have multiple options, but sometimes it's really good to have that one piece you can go to over and over again.
So if you're just checking in with us, Marquette won the first set 25-21, and Lawrence Beckman is back to serve to open this second set. That'll be a service ace for the Golden Eagles. Their third of the match. I mean, we already know that Marquette really struggled in the first set with service errors, so getting that first point off a service ace has got to be a confidence booster.
And that's a good way to start it off. Just get that bad juju from the first set out of the way.
It's going to be Hope Wirtz to go through the block, but Xavier gets their hands on it. That was Lawrence Beckman gets her hands on it. Allie Barber has to just hit it over, so that's a free ball for Xavier.
Wow.
Allie Barber slams it down.
Oh
Martha
my
Knobloch
gosh.
gets her hands on it, and Allie Barber
What
back
a
to go
play.
across, and that's a Marquette point. Marquette takes the 2-0 lead off an Allie Barber kill. That's her 5th of the game.
Man, that was all set up by Martha Knobloch, just getting her hand just underneath to get it to Speckman and then back over to Barber. What a play.
Speckman back to serve for the Golden Eagles. that'll be Jada Carlton going cross on that. Marquette has a 2-1 lead still, but Xavier gets their name on the board.
Yeah, just good play right there. Just outstretched. Just not in the quite of the reach right there.
Kerrigan O'Reilly back to serve. Kanava gets her hands on it. Speckman sets it up for Hannah Vandenberg. That's going to be a double contact, I believe, so it will be Marquette's point. They get take the 3-1 lead, and it'll be Hannah Vandenberg back to serve for the Golden Eagles. Vandenberg's going to put it just over the net. Xavier's out of system here, trying to get back in it. And it's going to be Lauren Hanlon with the kill on that one. She was kind of out of position, too, but she ended up getting that kill, her first of the day. And Marquette still leads 3-2.
Yeah, Xavier's really got to get her going to get back into this. I mean, they're only down 1 right now, but overall, throughout the rest of this match, they've got to get her going.
Over back to serve, and then Orff tries to slam it down, but goes off the hands of Kerrigan O'Reilly. She just couldn't pass it to any of her teammates. Marquette takes the 4-2 lead.
A good play right there by Orff, just playing within the system and getting a good kill right there.
It'll be Martha Knobloch back to serve. She gets it over. Kerrigan O'Reilly sets it up for Marion O'Toole. But Lawrence Beckman was there, and Allie Barber just slams it down, and too powerful for Xavier. That was tipped from Xavier, and Allie Barber has her 6th kill of the day, tied with Hope Borch for the most kills of any hitter.
Hey, good on both of them to get going and just playing really well right now for Marquette.
And that'll be Jada Carlton with her 2nd kill of the day. Marquette leads 5-3. As Carlton will be back to serve. She's done everything from kills to serving.
Yeah, she's had a really strong 2nd set right now and just playing really well, trying to keep Xavier in this as much as possible.
Hope Borch goes off the block of Ellie Chafee, and that'll be a Marquette point, 6-3. As Barber and Speckman come out, and Sarah Rose and Ellie Kuntz will come in. Rose will be serving, so she likes to do her little short serves called the Sarah Rose serves. That's what head coach Ryan Tice calls them. They're so short.
If they work and you got them named after you, I mean, don't fix it. It's working.
And that'll be a huge block for Ellie Chafee.
Yeah.
And Lauren Hanlon. They were just right there and ready for that one. They had their hands set, got up there, and there's really nothing you can do if you're Marquette.
Yeah, Marquette has a sliver of a chance because went off 2 people, and they tried to get up one more time, but just not enough, and not enough of a reaction time there, but hard on that.
Sarah Rose gives it to Ellie Kuntz. Ellie Kuntz got vertical on that one. She slams it down in the middle of the court. Marquette takes a 7-4 lead.
Yeah, she really got up there. That was fantastic to watch, and just good athletic play right there.
I haven't seen a jump like that since Anna Hawk last year. That'll be Hope Work. She'll get her first service ace of the day. That'll be Marquette takes the 8-4 lead. They're pulling away in the 2nd set.
Yeah, definitely starting to pull away right now, as you said, so we'll see if they can keep it up right now.
Hope Work to serve. Hannah Vandenberg. Sarah Rose sets it up for Ellie Kuntz. She gets it off the hands of Maddie Cutruff, and that's a Marquette point.
Yeah, nothing much Cutruff could do right there. She was really diving out there trying to hit it and do something, but not much really you can do on that one.
Hope Borch getting ready. She serves it up. And it'll be Mariah Hopkins the try for that one, but that was a block, so that'll be Marquette point. They're taking lead 10-4, and And Christy Heffenberger is going to have to take another timeout.
Yeah, they're just, I think it's only the second set, but I think they're starting to lose a little bit of confidence in themselves. They're competitive early in this set, but as it's prolonged, hasn't been as close. 10-4 right now, so just a quick reset, relax. We've been in this so far. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it moving.
Well, it's definitely because, I mean, Marquette's doing really well on offense. Their defense, they have 3 blocks compared to Xavier's 1, and they're on a 4-0 scoring run, have all the momentum, have the crowd. I mean, they're not having as many service errors, instead service aces. They've already had 3 this set, so Marquette has really upped their game in serving, and that's really the difference.
Yeah, and this is, like we've talked about throughout, this is just another learning experience for Xavier and how to deal with a really good team on the road on a hostile environment. So we'll see how they respond after this timeout. I mean, if they respond well, they'll learn how to respond well. If not, they'll have to keep learning and try again.
So Marianne O'Toole really doing a lot. She has 3 kills, which leads all players on Xavier, hitting at a .600, and she has 4 digs. So really, everything from offense to defense, both sides of the ball, she's really on top of it.
Yeah, she's done a really fantastic job so far for them and just keeping them in the match for the most part. So that's definitely good for Xavier.
Hope Wirtz starts us again here. And that'll be Mariah Hopkins tries, but it's tipped, so that is a Xavier point. As Kelly Franksman is coming back in for the Musketeers. And it'll be Marianne O'Toole back to serve, too. Sarah Rose sets it up for Hannah Vandenberg. She gets height on that one, gets off the block, and Marquette gets their 11-5 lead.
That's her 4th kill, and the kills, at least on the big rough run I can see, have been really evenly distributed, and Marquette's just playing really well right now.
Quinn Jones is going to have a service error. She just palmed that one too low, and it went way long. Xavier gets the point on that one as Quinn Jones comes out and Martha Knobloch comes back in.
Yeah, quite the opposite of the Sarah Rose serve on that one.
Rose sets it up for Elizabeth Orff. Knobloch is going to set it up for Ellie Kunch. It's going to be Franksman. It's going to be Vandenberg trying. Franksman again. Knobloch gets her hands under it, and now it's going to be Kunz, and off the block. That's a Marquette point. 12-6.
Another really good volley right there between these 2 teams. Hope to see more of that because that always makes this game so much fun.
So it will be Allie Barber and Lauren Speckman coming back in, and Speckman will be back to serve. It's a bad set for Marianne O'Toole, so double contact as well. So that'll be a free point for Marquette. So it's basically the same thing as a service ace.
Okay, that makes sense, but
just bad positioning on Xavier's part.
Yeah.
So Speckman will be back to serve. Marianne O'Toole gets her hands under it. That'll be Hopkins get it off the hands of Hope Wirtz into the crowd. So that'll be a Xavier point. Kind of going back and forth in the last couple points between both teams.
Yeah, and I think that what Xavier wants to go on, obviously, on a run, but at this point, I think they're happy with just trading points at this point. Stay as close as you can.
Kerrigan O'Reilly puts up the serve. Martha Knobloch gets her hands under it. And then it's Allie Barber. Who else to hit the back line? Marquette has a 14-7 lead. Man. Biggest lead of the night. Man,
that's just too easy right there. Got her around the block right there and just put it in a perfect spot just inside.
Marianne O'Toole gets her hands under it, and that's set up for Franksman. She just had to tap it over, so it's a free ball for Marquette. Hope Wirtz just taps it over. And Xavier thought they were going to have their hands on it, but nobody was there. So it'll be a Marquette point, 15-7.
Yeah, that was good by Xavier, at least trying to get it up off of the ground, but that last hit there just went backwards, and there's nobody there.
Franksman set it up, and it's a free ball for the Musketeers again, and they're just going to have to get it over some way. So now this is a free ball for Marquette. They got to take advantage of it as Hope Wirtz just taps it over. Xavier's really out of system, but That's going to be a Marquette point after Lauren Hanlon just hit it real wide.
Yeah, Elizabeth Orth and Allie Barber throwing a block party for Xavier. I mean, just a couple of good blocks right there and just forcing an error on the young Xavier team.
Marquette leads 16-7 in the second set and really have taken advantage of, I mean, doing a way better job at serving, and not only serving, but they're really kind of heightening their offense a little bit too. But besides, like, when you don't have Allie Barber in, they've had other people, and like you said, they've really distributed it well. Like, it's not Allie Barber who has the most kills, it's Hope Wirtz. She has 8, Allie has 7, and the rest of the team has lower than that. So it definitely really spreading the wealth on the offense. And then on the defensive side, the Golden Eagles really doing a great job on blocking, something they're not known for.
Yeah, just you got to work on some of these things in a game like this. When you're playing a younger opponent, you got to work on some of those things and just continue to play well, continue to play your way, but also work on some things that you've been struggling on throughout the year, and you can still play competitively and still get a win.
For sure, and I bet Christy Heffenberger is just talking to her team now. All right, how do we kind of cut this deficit of 9 points and figure out, all right, how do we get Marianne O'Toole the ball, because she's the one who's been doing all the work.
Well, I guess in that case, go to other people. I mean, you obviously want to stay competitive and get it to her, but get other people involved so that way you have someone else that Marquette is expecting to hit the ball. So, I mean, got to focus on that. And to answer your question about the deficit, just play 1 point at a time. There's no play in volleyball that's going to get you 9 points in one volley. So just play 1 point at a time and play good defense and work your offense.
So it'll be Hannah Vandenberg after the timeout to serve. Franksman to set it up for Hanlon, and Hanlon gets it down. So Hanlon, if she starts going off, I think Marquette's going to really struggle.
Yeah, I mean, she's been leading the team in kills so far, so really don't, from Marquette's side, don't want to let her get going. And
Marquette leads 16-8 in the second set. Golden Eagles hitting a .377.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Lawrence Beckman sets it up for Allie Barber. It's going to be Hanlon off the tape, and that'll be a Xavier point. Marquette leads just 16-9. So kind of cutting away that deficit one by one.
And just playing patiently, excuse me. Just going 1 point at a time, like I said.
Overbeck almost credited with the service ace there, but Martha Knobloch gets it back over. Hanlon tries, but Allie Barber's there. That was O'Toole, but she was denied, and that almost hit the ground, but didn't. Lawrence Beckman there. Orff to Barber. Barber slams it down. Kutcherov got our hands on it. O'Toole just has to get it over. This will be a free ball for Marquette. Speckman set it up to Elizabeth Orff. That was a easy set, and Elizabeth Orff just got it, slammed it down right in the middle of the court.
And that was a good play. That was just a fantastic volley all the way around, but fantastic play by Speckman to fake the set to Barber and get it to Orff and just kill it right down.
She's so good at that, just faking out the blockers. That's going to hit the pin yet again, and Marquette takes the 18-9 lead.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Marquette has just completely run away with this set at this point, up 9 points once again. It's going to be real tough for Xavier to even come back in this set.
Allie Barber and Gwyn Jones weren't sure who was going to get that ball. Hope Wirtz just has to send it over. And that'll be Jada Carlton who tries for that, and that be a net violation, so that will be a Xavier point. Marquette leads 18-10 as Carlton will go back to serve. Carlton not having the best day. She just has 3 kills on 7 attempts, hitting at a .286.
It's hard to play as well as they normally do when you're playing a good team and a veteran team at that as well. So it's going to be tough to play your normal game, and especially in a hostile environment.
Barber is setting it. Speckman sets it up, and Wirtz goes wide, and that's going to be a Xavier point. Marquette leads 18-11
I think Tice is going to challenge this one. Yep.
Tice brings out the green card, and he's going to challenge it yet again. He believes there was a touch on that. I mean, I couldn't tell from my vantage point, but he's usually correct on his challenges. He's already had one today and he won it, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think from at least our vantage point, it's harder because it's on the far side. But it looked to me like that one was in. But we'll see with the
They're
replay
questioning if it was a
say.
tip, though.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
So I believe usually okay. So this is the thing with Ryan Tice. He'll do a lot of challenges, but usually win. I would say 2 out of 3 of everyone.
Okay.
So he has a pretty. I would like to see what his win ratios are for these challenges because he really knows his volleyball and he really trusts his players. That's the other thing. He will ask his players before he turns out that challenge card. Do you guys think that someone touched it? And if they do, then he'll give it to them.
And that gives such a team supreme confidence. Your coach trusts you enough that you know the game enough to say he asked you.
So that was a touch. So that'll be Marquette point. Marquette leads 19-10 in the second set. So really taking that 9-point lead over Xavier and kind of pulling away.
Man, I want Ryan Tice to buy me some lottery tickets. He's been 2 for 2 tonight. Just that's fantastic. I want him to buy me some lottery tickets.
So Allie Barber and Lawrence Beckman will go out for Sarah Rose and Ellie Kuntz. So that seems like the switches. Whenever Beckman has to serve, it'll be her switching for Rose and Barber switching for Kuntz. That was a tried block by Ellie Kuntz, but it goes just wide, and so that'll be a Xavier point.
Yeah, that was a good block right there, but not much to do on that one in terms of keeping it in.
As Hopkins and Watson will come in for Xavier, and Watson will actually go back to serve. Martha Kanavna digs it under, and Gwyn Jones on the slide. She's so good at that. That's what she does best, is on the slide, just hitting that to the open court. She goes cross, and Marquette has the 20-11 lead.
That was fantastic, and she just flew out of nowhere, at least for me. That was just fantastic play right there.
Hits the tape, but goes over. And it'll be Hopkins to put it down in the open court. Kanavna and Rose can't get her hands on it. So it'll be 20-12. Marquette leads. Hopkins gets her 4th kill of the night.
Yeah, I think the block attempt was just a little early right there, so that's how Xavier was able to get it over. And once they got it over, there was no one there in the middle to be able to get a touch on that one.
So junior defensive specialist Gabby Martinez comes in for a few points here as Gwyn Jones is going to try for that one. Xavier, Marianne O'Toole smacks it down off the hands of Martinez, and that's a tip and Xavier's point.
Yeah, good on them to get O'Toole back in the action and chipping away a little bit. I think this is the lowest they've gotten in 7 in this set, so hopefully they can, at least for their sake, keep chipping.
Sarah Rose sets it up for Gwyn Jones. She's on the slide. It gets tipped from Xavier. Marquette leads 21-13.
Yeah, good play right there.
Gwyn Jones back to serve now. Slapped over by Ellie Chafee, and that's nobody. Chafee and Franksman were like, whose ball is that? Both of them missed it. It drops on the floor, and they're just figuring, oh my gosh, that's a big miscommunication.
Yeah, that just fell right over, and they both jumped, so you would figure someone would get a hand on it, but
no one.
Just kind of like a pop fly in baseball. Occasionally, no one was able to get it.
But Ellie Chafee kind of redeems herself on that one, and she gets the credited with her 3rd kill of the day as Marquette leads 22-14. Gabby Martinez. Sarah Rose sets it up for Hannah Vandenberg. She just slammed it. That went off the knee of Marianne O'Toole, and that looked like it hurt.
Man, I mean, they got to go through some major icing after the game. Ice baths, ice packs, everything, because these players are hitting a ball just with extreme force. So that one definitely looked like it hurt.
Speckman gets her hands on it, and Hannah Vandenberg gets it over, but it looks as if it hits the pin, so that'll be a Xavier point. But nice try there by Hannah Vandenberg. She rushed over there to get that one.
I don't know if that one hit the pin. I'm looking at it right now, and it's not shaking, so I don't know about that one. I think it was because it went around instead of back over the net. This
will be Allie Barber, but that's a huge block. for Xavier. Carlton credited with the block on that one, and Marquette leads 23-16.
Yeah, weird thing you'll see right there is a block from Allie Barber kill, but Martha Kadamdov was a little too close up on that one. Maybe could have been a little further back to get that one, but good block attempt by Xavier.
Speckman to Barber. Barber goes wide. It looked as if it was going wide, but that's a tip, and that'll be Marquette's set point. They have the second set point, 24-16. Allie Barber leads all hitters with 8 kills.
Marquette crowd on their feet right now.
Hannah Vandenberg will be back to serve for set point number 1. And it'll be tipped from the Golden. Well, Xavier thought it was tipped. Oh, but it looks like coach is going to challenge. So Christy Heavenberger brings out her green challenge card. She said, wait, not yet. Don't play that ring out of Hoya just quite yet. We think that it's challengeable because Marquette got a hand on it, but we'll see. I haven't really seen her take many challenges, so it'll be interesting to see if she saw the same thing I did. I did also think it was tipped.
Yeah, I think I missed it right there, but yeah, this is her first challenge of the night, and we'll see if the coaches can go as between the two of them 3 for 3. See what the refs ended up deciding. But
obviously, it would be a huge breaker for Marquette because they had set at 25-16. If it was tipped, then that would go back to Xavier, so it would be 24-17, and they would have to try to close it out in a different way. But obviously, for Xavier, that would be like, all right, we're still in it.
Yeah, they would definitely still be in it. It'd be 24-17, but you're still down 8 points with Marquette at set points. So it would take a lot for Marquette to be able to come back, or excuse me, Xavier to come back in this set.
So both teams waiting here. I don't think Ryan Tice. I think he thinks that his team didn't touch it, and he's going to trust his players. Like again, he looked at his players saying, "All right, did any of you touch it?" And it seemed like they all said no. So it's just waiting on the referees and figuring out the officials who, if it was actually touched or not.
I think I wonder why such a delay on this one.
There's a lot of debate, and that'll go back to Marquette, so it wasn't tipped, and Marquette takes set 2, 25-16.
There goes the fight song. Yeah, that was a little bit of a lucky break. Well, no, I wouldn't say lucky break, but I think that was the right call. I mean, I missed it, but I'm not sure.
So Marquette takes the first 2 sets. They lead 2-0, 25-21, 25-16. So Jackson, what have you kind of seen in this first 2 sets here?
I mean, Xavier was really competitive in that first set, so good job on them. But they ran out of gas in this second set. I mean, Marquette played a much cleaner game right there, so it'll be interesting to see how they go through in that third set.
All right, interesting takes on that. We are going to take a quick break here for the intermission between sets 2 and 3, but stay tuned because we'll have the third set when we come back.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting.
So, welcome back. It's Zoe Comfort and Jackson Gross on the call as we continue this match between number 10 Marquette and Xavier. So, Marquette took the first two sets, 25-21, 25-16. So, first set, Marquette was a little shaky, had 7 service errors, really struggled on the serve, and then cleaned that up in the second set and took a really demanding lead.
Yeah, they cleaned up their errors. I mean, they had a much stronger set in terms of the service, and just overall, they played a much cleaner second set. And Xavier just didn't have a really answer for anything that Marquette was doing.
Golden Eagles very effective on the attack. They were hitting a .485, which is their best of the match.
God.
They were hitting a .31, so in the first, even despite the 7 service errors, but then notched it up to a .485 while just holding Xavier to a .273. So Xavier's not having the offensive success Marquette is, but that makes sense because Marquette's a top 10 team.
Right, and like we've been talking about all night long, Xavier's such a young team. It'd be very hard to expect them to just come into the L and win this match. So, and Marquette's just playing a very good game. Things to clean up overall, but I would say they played a really good game.
So this is fun. They're playing Cha-Cha Slide here, and the Xavier players are all getting hyped up and really dancing out to it. They're really having a fun time.
That's good. I mean, you gotta have some fun somewhere. Otherwise, it's no fun. I mean, you're not in the pros yet, so it's not all business. So you're still allowed to have some fun here and there. So it's good to see that even though they're down 2-0, they're still having fun with it.
So it'll be Kerrigan O'Reilly to start to serve for this third set. And Vandenberg hit hands on it, and it's yet again Speckman to Barber, and Barber slams it cross, and that's a Marquette point.
That's just, I feel like it's on repeat. I feel like I'm in deja vu right now when it comes to that, but just a great way to start that set.
Now to be Hannah Vandenberg for Marquette.
A nice play there. Oh.
Hannah Vandenberg tried to set it up for one of her teammates, but just went too far into the net, and that'll be a Xavier point.
Yeah, good on Xavier to force that miscue right there. Marquette tied this one back up.
It'll be Alyssa Overbeck back to serve. She hits the floor. That was a powerful serve. She gets the point for Xavier. Xavier takes their first lead since the first set, 2-1.
I mean, that was fantastic. That was just a nice low arcing shot right there to get it over the net and get that service ace.
Speckman goes to Orff, and Orff goes off of multiple Xavier players, and that'll be Marquette point, 2-2.
Yeah, that was good. Just how Marquette's been playing for the most part all night. Just nice play set up and good finish.
So that will be That will be Lauren Hanlon credited with the kill on that one. And Xavier takes their 3-2 lead. So if they can get out early, they could kind of still stay in this match.
Yeah, they've come out much better, about the same actually in the second set and first set. We'll see if they can carry the momentum through the rest of the set. That one goes into the crowd.
Allie Barber just slams it. And, I mean, Alyssa Overbeck, she can't do anything about that. She got under it, but, like, that's going way into the crowd.
Yeah, when a ball's hit with that much speed, you're pretty much at the mercy of whenever it hits you. You don't really have a whole ton of control in terms of where it goes. You do your best, but not good enough.
Sarah Rose back to serve for the Golden Eagles. That'll be Hanlon, but Martha Konavagov gets her hands on it. Hope Wirtz gets it to Gwyn Jones, and Marquette keeps it up. But it'll be number 11, Ellie Chafee, who will get the kill on that one, and Xavier has the 5-3 lead.
Oh my gosh, that was a powerful kill right there. Fantastic job by Marquette to try and get it back over, but good on Xavier to finish off that point.
So that'll be Alyssa Watson. Martha Konavagov gets her hands on it. Sarah Rose sets it up for Gwyn Jones on the slide. And it's a miscommunication from Xavier. Marquette gets the point.
Yeah, that's just
4-4.
Yeah, a little bit miscommunicated there. You had basically the whole team around the ball, but no one could really get a solid handle on it.
Marianne O'Toole gets her hands on it, and she gets the pass, and she's going to just tap it over. Martha Konavagov slides on the ground but can't reach it. Xavier has the 5-4 lead.
Besides, the advantage of taking it slower, besides the speed, is the amount of air you can get on it. You can throw it up as almost high as you want and try and get it over the net as quick as possible.
Marianne O'Toole gets a service ace as Martha Konavagov just hits it right into the net.
Yeah, Xavier noticed the weak side of Marquette's formation and took advantage of it.
Marianne O'Toole's going to put a little one up again, and Sarah Rose luckily gets her hands on it and gives it to Ellie Kuntz, but this will be a free ball for Xavier, but it'll be blocked by Gwyn Jones. She's just too tall. Marquette brings it within one.
Yeah, that was a nice block right there. Good positioning and just using her height and athleticism to your advantage.
Jones back to serve. She has her second or third service error of the day. She's really struggled on serves.
Yeah, and you're up 2-0, but if I was Ryan Tice, I'd limit the amount of opportunity she gets to serve. I mean, you still got to trust her, but she hasn't been the best in this one, so maybe switch it up.
And then it'll be Mariah Hopkins trying for that one. And Sarah Rose is going to get credited with that kill. Just hits it over super easy. No Xavier player in the vicinity. And Marquette is within one, 7-6.
Yeah, one of the classic plays right there, using the setter and using a fake set and just basically almost lateraling the ball over the net.
Marquette's hitting at a .415, one of their higher hitting percentages today. As Mariah Hopkins takes a shot and it goes off the hand of Martha Konavagov. That'll be Xavier point, 8-6 lead for the Musketeers.
Yeah, she looked very frustrated after she touched that one because she knew if she hadn't touched it, that one probably would have gone out. But good job so far from Xavier to keep this lead.
Kerrigan O'Reilly's going to put it up for the Musketeers. Hannah Vandenberg gets her hand on it. And it's Beckman to Barber, but now Barber has to set it up again, and it is set up for her again, but it goes off the block, and ooh, two Xavier players, Kerrigan O'Reilly and Maddie Kutroff, run into each other for that one, and that's just a miscommunication. No one called that.
Yeah, with any sport, you have to talk. You can't just be silent and expect someone else to know what you're doing. You have to say, I got it, and something like that, but not the best communication on that one.
That'll be a huge block for Elizabeth Orff. She's credited for her third kill of the day, tied with Gwyn Jones. Marquette tied it up at 8. It'll be Mariana O'Toole gets her hands on it, and it'll be Lauren Hanlon. And
nice play.
It will be Allie Barber to smack it down, but O'Toole gets her hands on it, and Hanlon goes the cross, but Lawrence Beckman had her hands up. Free ball for Xavier.
Oh my gosh.
Elizabeth Orff keeps it over. And that's another free ball, but that's going to hit the pin, and that will be a Marquette point.
Wow, that was fantastic play by Marquette. There are like 2 or 3 spots in that volley where you thought, oh, Xavier's going to get the point and keep the lead, but credit to Marquette staying tough through that volley and just forced a mistake on Xavier to gain the lead, actually.
It actually looks like Xavier's going to challenge that call.
I don't know.
They're going to challenge probably a net violation.
Okay. Okay.
Yet another challenge, but last time they didn't get it, so it'll be interesting to see if they have any more luck on this challenge, because Heffenberger has not been great with her challenges and figuring out, because if they lose this one, they'll only have 1 challenge left.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be smart, and I mean, I definitely think this is the right call to challenge it right here. It would basically give Xavier the lead back, so definitely an important time to make that decision and challenge, but for their sake, they hope it goes their way.
Yeah, but it's really interesting that she would use it now, just in case like there's something later on maybe that you needed to use it for and you've already used it. It's so early in the set that I wouldn't have used it at this point.
I can see that line of reasoning, but there's also the idea that you need to. They've had the lead this entire set, so you want to try and keep that momentum and keep your players playing the same way, because they might get a little demoralized once like we had the lead and oh Marquette has it back now. So that might. I could see your line of reasoning at 100%, but I just think you need to do it now.
I think it's really interesting that Marquette, even though they're hitting a 4-1-2, which is their best of the day, they're still only winning by 1 point. So Xavier has definitely picked up their offense. That'll be a call for Marquette, and that Marquette will get that point. So call stands, and Heffenberger was wrong for the second time. So Marquette has the 9-8 lead in this third set.
Yeah, I was looking across the way when the referee told her that it was Marquette point. She kind of looked like she sat there and said, "Okay." Like she seemed a little annoyed on that call.
It'll be O'Reilly setting it up for Hanlon. Wirtz was there to block it. It'll be O'Reilly, just has to get it over. Free ball for Marquette. Speckman to Barber. But it's going to be Woodruff to get it. Speckman will set it up for Hope Wirtz, and it'll be off the hand of Speckman. That'll be a Xavier point. Xavier ties it back up at 9.
That was an interesting play design. I think if they tried to switch it up a little bit and go the more unconventional route on that one. I think if they'd gone the same way, I think they might have gotten the point there, but good block from Xavier and forcing a Marquette miscue.
Speckman to Barber, but it goes through the block, and that'll be a Marquette point. So just trading off points in this third set. I mean, Xavier's have definitely elevated their game from the first 2 sets.
Yeah, they're playing really tough right now. They're playing tough, like I said. I mean, and they're playing competitively.
You have nothing to lose as Martha Konopatov hits the serve into the net. That'll be a service error, the 8th for Marquette, and 10-10 is the score.
They really got to improve on that. I mean, that's 8 points right there. And I mean, most of them were in that first set, but still, something you got to work on.
Speckman set it up for Jones, and now Speckman sets it up for Hope Wirtz. She just taps it over. Gwynn Jones puts it up. Speckman now sets it up for Barber. Barber slams it down off the hands of O'Reilly, and that'll be a Marquette point. Any doubt, you go to Allie Barber. She's going to get you the automatic point. She leads all hitters with 12 kills, and Marquette leads 11-10 after that huge play by Allie Barber.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play right there. Just a oh my God, just a fantastic spike. And when it hit the Xavier player, there was another thud. So that was just extreme power right there from Allie Barber.
And that is Marianne O'Toole, who finds the back right corner for the Xavier point, her 6th kill of the day. She leads all Xavier players on the floor right now. Marquette, Xavier tied at 11 in the third set, as it'll be Elsa Watson back to serve. Sarah Rose puts it up for Hope Wirtz. Marianne O'Toole finds the same spot she just hit. That's her 7th kill, and Xavier leads 12-11.
Yeah, that near side corner right now for Marquette has been very vulnerable the past couple of points. see if they might switch up the formation to kind of compensate for that.
They're just not getting to it in time. Sarah Rose is going to set it for Gwyn Jones on the slide. It'll be recovered by Xavier. Marion O'Toole gets it up as Rose sets it up for Kuntz, and Kuntz gets it off the block, and that's a Marquette point. 12-12.
And I mean, I know Xavier's down 2-0, but even if they do eventually lose in this set, in this game, you got to take a lot of positives away from this final set. They are hanging tough with arguably the best or second best team in the conference right now, so definitely good for Xavier to take away.
Definitely, as Marion O'Toole tries to hit the other corner, but it's no good. Marquette was there. Kuntz hits it, but it's off the block of Marion O'Toole. Gets it right back to Kuntz's face. She tried it a little too easy there.
Yeah, you weren't kidding earlier when you said Marion O'Toole is basically doing everything. Digs, kills, serves, blocks. She's definitely having a really good game right now and keeping Xavier in this set.
That's an attack error and point for Xavier. Xavier takes a 14-12 lead. Trying to get that momentum back here in the third set. Gwyn Jones puts it down. That wasn't on the slide this time. It's going to be Sarah Rose sets it up for Ellie Kuntz, and Ellie Kuntz hits the back floor, and Marion O'Toole was just too slow. And that'll be a Marquette point. They trail by 1.
And nice play set up, and good to get the little bit of that momentum back. I think Xavier was on a quick 2-0 run right there, and good to get it back within a point.
Anna Vandenberg to Elizabeth Orff. Everybody's out of system on this play. Kucherov just had to get it over, and Elizabeth Orff slammed it down right in front of Kucherov, and that's going to be 14-14. Marquette and Xavier are tied in this third set. It's been a real competitive one.
Yeah, just two teams playing really well right now, and give a lot of credit to Xavier for staying in this even though they're down 2-0.
Sarah Rose sets it up for Ellie Kuntz, and that's going to be off the block, and Marquette gets that point.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that one, yeah, that definitely was out, but
15-14, Marquette leads. And it looks like they're waiting to credit the play to Marquette, and Gwyn Jones will serve it up.
looked like for a minute Xavier's coach was going to potentially challenge that, but I don't think so.
She knew better.
Yeah.
From her last 2 attempts. Hope Orch got her hand on it, and she's going to get set up. She's going to hit a...
Oh.
But it's going to drop to the floor in front of Elizabeth Orff and Gwyn Jones. That's a huge miscommunication for the Golden Eagles. Everybody was looking at it, but nobody was going there.
Right. They formed up right away after the hit, and no one was really paying attention to the wall right there. And you know you got to set up your formation, but ball before formation, in my opinion, on that one.
That's going to be a point for Marquette. They lead 16-15. So Xavier is now hitting at a .207, really efficient compared to their first 2 sets. I bet you have that feeling like, okay, there's really nothing to lose at this point. We're down 2 sets. Like, as long as we can get another set and try to stay in this match, keep it close.
Yeah, just maintain that competitiveness. I mean, the first and this set so far have been very competitive, and that's good for Xavier. That second set, not so much, but good job for Xavier. Keeping it close.
Anna Vandenberg's going to go into the net. That's an attack error. That's a point, Xavier, and Xavier ties it up at 16.
Yeah, I mean that was a good play. Just went into the net. Wanted to get it over, not into it.
So it'll be Kerrigan O'Reilly back to serve. Anna Vandenberg gets her hands on it. Speckman to Barber and goes through the block. That's a Marquette point. 17-16. Allie Barber has 13 kills, more than any other player on her team, more than any other player on the court.
She's just essentially at this point almost like a one-woman army right now. She's just playing fantastic, as she has all year long.
That's going to be Carlton to just smack that to the open court after Allie Barber kind of just tapped it over. Carlton finishes back for Xavier, and it's tied up yet again.
That was unfortunate there for Marquette, but good play by Xavier. Get it back tied up.
Speckman goes to Wirch. Wirch has some power on that one, and that's a Marquette point.
Wow. Man, that was, if you hit something that hard and it has enough power to not go back over the net, but just keep going, that's a lot of sauce right there.
Well, think, this ball is going to hit somebody's arm as Martha Knoblauch's serve goes out. Another service error for the Golden Eagles. Have really struggled, but not as much as the first set. So yeah, tied score at 18.
Definitely improved on that, but still a lingering issue.
Carlton puts up a high serve, and so it's Speckman to Barber. Barber goes cross, and it almost hits someone in the audience in their head. So Allie Barber's power is just too much for any Xavier player. Marquette leads 19-18.
I bet that fan's life flashed before their eyes on that.
That seems scary.
But that great reflexes by the fan right there to duck out of the way on that one. Oh my goodness.
Kerrigan O'Reilly puts it down for O'Toole, but O'Toole goes wide, and that's an attack error. Marquette takes a 20-18 lead, trying to pull away in the final points.
Let's see how they do now with Sarah Rose serving it up right now.
Rose does her Sarah Rose things, but it's gonna be Lauren Hanlon, someone we haven't heard that much of this game, but she's gonna put it off the hands of Martha Knoblauch, and that'll be a point for Xavier.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, just hit it hard enough where they have no play on it. I mean, you're not going to see players running into the stands trying to get the ball.
The O'Toole to go across, and Martha Knoblauch got her hands under it, and Hope Orchis gets it over, but she ends up getting a kill on that one. No one was there. It was just too easy.
That was a really creative kill right there. Normally you see the normal like over the head kill, but this one she almost did like a reverse bump on that one to get it back over the net.
O'Reilly gives it over to Chafee, but now it's going to be Hannah Vandenberg and gets it off the hands of Maddie Kucheroff, and that's a Marquette point. Marquette leads 22-19, and Xavier's got to take a timeout. They're saying, all right, we're getting closer here to set, and we need the timeout.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Marquette's 3 points away from match point, or 2 points away from match point, 3 points away from winning the match. Got to take a quick breather and say, we're still in this, only down 3. Play how we've been playing for the most part throughout this set. Have strong serves, have strong defense, and have strong offense. I know that's a lot to ask, but just continue the way they've been playing. They've been playing a really good game so far. Just got to improve, and yeah, just got to improve.
So Heffenberger had to take that timeout. She only has a few left, but I mean, there's only a few more points left in this match, so she had to take it sooner rather than later, try to get her team back into tying it again. I mean, so they've kept it very close in this third set, done a really nice job hitting at a .202. I mean, really spreading the wealth on their offense and defensively having the blocks and just being there, ready for getting those digs as well. So really upped their game in the last set.
Yeah, they played a really strong game overall, and overall they played a much better game here at the Al than they did back in early October. And that's funny, that goes along with a little bit of a trend. They're actually better on the road than they are at home, so interesting to see.
That's going to be accredited service ace for Hope Wirtz. It hit the tape and just trickled over, and no one was prepared for that one. Marquette leads 23-19. Kerrigan O'Reilly sets it up for O'Toole. Sarah Rose sets it up for Ellie Kuntz, and she gets it off the block. That's a Marquette point. Marquette has match point, 24-19.
So that was fantastic play right there as we're about to get underway for our set point right now. See what happens with Marquette.
It's going to be match point as Hope Wirtz serves it up. O'Toole. But that's going to be a Xavier point off the hands of Ellie Chafee, and they get it back within 4.
They just continue to play tough and chip away right now. Just can't let Marquette score right now.
Marianne O'Toole is going to be back to serve someone. She's a freshman, but she seems like she's doing everything for this team. Rosakanava gets her hands on it, and it's going to be Gwyn Jones on the slide. Marquette takes the match 25-20. Marquette wins 25-21, 25-16, 25-20, and they sweep the Xavier Musketeers, someone who took them to 4 sets in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, it was much more competitive in terms of the sets, in terms of the score, but overall Marquette just played their strong game, and it's just another win overall for them, and just fantastic for them right now.
So what are your final takeaways, Jackson, from this match?
I mean, just Marquette continues to roll. I mean, their only loss against Creighton, they're 10-1 in the conference. They won their 20th game of the year. It's just standard business for them. That was fantastic. And for Xavier, there's just something they can build on. I mean, they know they didn't win. I know they didn't even win a set. But you played the second best or best team in the conference pretty tough for the most part. So that's something they can take away and say, if we can play this way against Marquette, we can play this way against nearly anybody.
Yeah, I think the big thing to take away for Xavier is obviously you don't want to get sweep, but I think the sweep doesn't really say what happened the whole match. I think something like the sweep, even though they did get swept, they played really tough in the first and third sets, and I think that's something that if they can sustain throughout their whole match, then they'll win more conference matches. But I think Marquette really needs to take away with this is that, all right, we're going to Butler to play at Butler, so they have to take this momentum into the next games and really tune up their serving, and I think they just need to spend time on serving because that was a huge struggle this whole match, and it was Allie Barber leading all hitters with 15, and Hope Wirch had 11, tied with Ellie Kuntz, and for Xavier it was Marianne O'Toole with 7 and Ellie Chafee with 5, and Lauren Hanlon had just 6, but she was hitting at a .136, so Golden Eagles take this. Marquette takes this. So with that, it would do it here for MUTV. Marquette wins 25-21, 25-16, 25-20 over Xavier. Now moves to 20-3, having notched the program's 9th consecutive 20-win season. I want to thank our producer, Jack Phillips, our entire production team, and you, Jackson. Once again, Marquette takes the win over Xavier. The Golden Eagles look for their 6th consecutive win Sunday at Butler. With that, I'm Zoe Comerford. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great rest of your night. Well, it stressed me out that the stats broadcast wasn't working.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't working?